50 years ago, Buffalo started a tradition.
The local Juneteenth was an idea that stemmed from a movement in the late 60s.
A movement built on freedom, community, and culture.
Juneteenth booklet from the first Juneteenth. That's my dad. These were the original Juneteenth founders right here.
From small beginnings on Jefferson Avenue to one of the largest Juneteenth celebrations in the country.
This year is one of the biggest years. This is a lot. It's a lot, and I'm proud of our city.
50 years later, that legacy comes full circle as founders are honored as royalty.
They called me and asked me, and I said, what? I said, well, I'll do it.
And a new generation steps forward, keeping the tradition alive.
I like about drill is I like my coaches, and I like when I drill every single time.
Mentors creating space for young voices to be heard.
What better opportunity to have than the Juneteenth to be able to sit down, talk to the youth, and let them know that not only do we hear y'all, but we're here to help y'all too.
And ensuring 50 years of history is never forgotten.
We're here to preserve these histories for the sake of the community.
This is Buffalo Juneteenth, 50 years strong. Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this Two on Your Side special, Buffalo Juneteenth, 50 years strong. For 5 decades, Buffalo's Juneteenth celebration has brought people together through history, culture, community, and joy. And as Buffalo marks this milestone anniversary, we reflect on the legacy that built this tradition while embracing this year's theme, honoring the past, serving the present, inspiring the future. It's also about recognizing those who were there from day one, paving the way for future generations and helping carry this tradition forward. What began as a grassroots celebration in 1976 has grown into one of the largest Juneteenth festivals in the nation, attracting more than 20,000 people every year. Marcus Brown has been with Juneteenth Buffalo from the start. Let's go back to 1976.
I stood there and I was amazed at seeing my people, the look on their faces, the happiness, the tears of just coming together as a family.
Something he says must continue because it's needed more now than ever before.
I never thought we could make it this far.
Why?
Through the grace of God. There's so many hurdles. People don't realize the work that it takes to have just a festival.
You were the young generation.
Yes,
now you're the OGs.
Yeah, we're the OGs. So we know how it feels to be young and being involved in an organization for the first time.
And he's passing the festival coordinator torch to this woman.
Crystal Peacock, and I am the festival coordinator co-chair for 2026 Juneteenth Festival, Inc.
Mr. Brown says he's passing the torch.
I am pretty sure that I'm going to grab it, you know.
And our young people should understand what Juneteenth is all about. I'm more concerned about them, you know, and passing the torch and letting them see themselves. Because we are a great people. We have a lot of potential, and I think that potential hasn't been tapped. And I think we as seniors should work along with the youth to try to make sure that they can become all that they can be.
Juneteenth is the oldest nationally celebrated commemoration of the end of slavery in the United States. It marks the historic day in 1865 when enslaved African Americans in Galveston, Texas, finally received word of their freedom. In 2021, Juneteenth was recognized as a federal holiday.
I was so surprised, and I called some of the OGs, the people that helped us, and some of the founders that were still around, and told them, and they were just happy. You thought it was Juneteenth over again.
Welcome everybody here to our first annual Juneteenth celebration.
Buffalo was ahead of the game observing Juneteenth.
What's your favorite part of Juneteenth, Buffalo?
I would love to say the parade, but that's not it. It's just coming together as a community, seeing people love on each other.
Buffalo's first Juneteenth celebration helped change history And now a Buffalo native and filmmaker is looking back on those early days. Doug Ruffin is reflecting on the festival's powerful beginnings and the role his own family played in helping bring that history to life.
These are the parade participants and the drill teams.
Buffalo native Doug Ruffin owns the Buffalo History Channel.
It's supposed to be a revitalization project for Jefferson Avenue to basically save the business corridor.
We took a stroll down Jefferson Avenue to reminisce on where it all started.
Just to think that 50 years ago, this is where the first Juneteenth parade was held.
Amazing, amazing. The parade would actually end at War Memorial Stadium at the Rock Pile.
Oh, really?
He was 4 years old.
I know my father was on the original committee, and he was very insistent on us coming down here because he was a part of that.
Why parades?
It adds a lot of energy. It brings out the most people because everybody, even to this day, everybody comes to Juneteenth because they want to see the parade. That's the first thing that everybody wants to see is the parade and who's in the parade. They definitely want to see the drill teams, the dancers in there.
Yeah. But Buffalo was ahead of the game.
Yes, it was, and it really hadn't been celebrated in many other places, and just the uniqueness of the festival and being proud of our heritage and who we are as not just as a people, but as a community, and learning that from a local's perspective, they had a desire to build up the Cold Spring and Jefferson Avenue business district.
Yeah, because when you think about it, where we are right now, these were all businesses, and businesses were thriving on Jefferson Avenue.
Yes, they were.
And so when you talk about Juneteenth and you talk about freedom and this city thriving, this block was thriving.
In 1976, the bicentennial celebration was getting ready to be celebrated. And being African Americans in Buffalo, they didn't feel like they had much to be celebratory about because many of the figures that were being celebrated supported slavery. So they wanted to have something for the black community that could counter the bicentennial celebration, and for something that the black community could be proud of.
And from the old footage Ruffin was able to gather from his father and others,
you could always start off by seeing images of the Juneteenth parade and people coming down this way towards Jefferson, towards the Apollo, and off in the distance you would see Jim Bell Cleaners, Dexter's Pharmacy, Scotty's Steakhouse, and just a large crowd of people as they cheered on the parade coming past here. You could see the culture, the black culture, from the murals that were painted.
This was truly culture.
Yes.
This was truly black.
Absolutely.
And this was truly inviting for everybody to come on Jefferson Avenue.
And back to where we started.
You have a book that says, Build a Buffalo, it's Juneteenth, 1976, 50 years ago.
And the time of times, which it looks like it's going to be. It was the time of times in 1976, and from the looks of it, it's going to be the time of times 50 years later in 2026.
And from the energy of Juneteenth to the power of performance, drill teams are always a showstopper and a major part of Juneteenth celebrations across Buffalo. And the elevated drill and dance team is doing exactly that. Channel 2's Courtney Courtwright shows us how they're building confidence, discipline, and sisterhood.
1, 2, 3, 4. Each move is intentional.
We're just completely different, and elevated means to elevate.
Every beat hit with precision. Since 2017, the elevated drill and dance team has been building choreography.
We just push them to keep going.
Hard work and discipline, bringing girls ages 5 to 19 together.
Pick it up, knees up! I like when I drill every single time.
Whatever you're going through, whatever situation, whatever how you're feeling, you express it on the stage. You stomp it out. They express themselves by performing and being able to stomp it out.
Beyond steps,
we call it a sisterhood.
They call this a family.
If you need anything other than if we got practice, you could call us and we gonna talk to you.
Yeah, it's more than just drill. This go beyond drill. You come to practice looking up to people, helping people that look up to you and everything else. So it's more than just drill.
That message is learned early on. Some drillers have rose up the ranks, becoming leaders.
You have to have an influence, and I'm that influence for them. You know, to be able to teach them and to be able to let them come back and be teachers and teach what they learned at youth, it is such a blessing.
Teaching the youngest of generations what it means to be part of their community. As their performances reach others. This year, the team took part in Buffalo's 50th Juneteenth parade, marking around 10 years participating in this celebration.
For us to be able to march and showcase our talent and just put on a show and just enjoy ourselves, it is very, very, very special.
And when practice is over, these girls leave elevated and ready to elevate someone else.
Keep doing drill, don't retire, just keep going.
So we want to make sure that we tie in our youth so that they can understand the history of Juneteenth, that they can know what came before them so we can go towards the future.
And as Buffalo marks 50 years of Juneteenth, we'll show you how this milestone year is shaping the next generation of leaders. That's coming up. Plus,
this is what it's all about. It's about coming together in this park, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Park, and just showing love, having fun.
And from the moves to the music, community and culture on full display at Buffalo's 50th Juneteenth parade. See the sights, sounds when Buffalo Juneteenth 50 years strong returns. Welcome back to our Two on Your Side special. Buffalo Juneteenth 50 years strong continues right now. Buffalo's Juneteenth parade is one of the most anticipated events of the year, bringing thousands of people to the city's east side. From music to dance and vibrant floats, it is a moving display of pride, history, and community. Two on Your Side's Alyssa Clausel shares the sights, sounds, and spirit of this year's parade.
The rhythms of resilience and the spirit of freedom echoing throughout Buffalo.
Just look at it, all this joy, pleasure, kids, old and young, myself. Yes, it is wonderful to see all this out here.
Thousands coming out for a milestone Juneteenth celebration.
50 years, 50 years, and I'm just so excited.
Juneteenth Buffalo's 50-year legacy on full display.
We have always done it great in the city of Buffalo, from the parade to as you go down, all the businesses, all the dance companies, the drill teams, everything. It's just so special here.
Music, dancing, food, and cultural performances kept the celebration going as people from across Western New York came together to mark the occasion.
This year is one of the biggest years. This is a lot. It's a lot, and I'm proud of our city. I'm proud we're standing. You know, we started this, and we got to go big.
Many remembering the earlier days of Juneteenth Buffalo.
I remember when the Juneteenth was on Jefferson.
Oh, yes. My mom bought me for years.
And looking towards the next generation to keep that tradition alive.
It's important for us to continue to do this because we need to teach the young people that this is what it's all about. It's about coming together in this park, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Park, and just showing love.
And those young people,
everyone's like combined together. This is like a holiday where everyone joins together and have fun.
Making memories for the next 50 years.
I'm just watching, having fun, buying bubble machines, and spending time with my family.
Well, this year's Juneteenth celebration puts a big focus on future leaders, including a space for young people to be seen, heard, and included. Two on Your Side's Chelsea Swift shows us how festival organizers are working to empower them to lead the next 50 years of progress.
As Buffalo's Juneteenth Festival marked its 50th anniversary, organizers focused on the next generation.
Juneteenth is their festival. It's our festival. It's the community's festival. So we want to make sure that the youth know that.
Shola Clark says celebrating 5 decades of history also means creating space for young people to help shape the future. That's why she created the Youth Empowerment Zone an area designed for people ages 14 to 25. The celebration started Friday night at MLK Park with an exhibition basketball game.
I'm a single mother of 2 children. I have a connection and understand what our kids need, the issues that they face in the community regarding peer pressure and workforce opportunities.
On Saturday, the Youth Empowerment Zone was filled with activities designed to connect young people with both resources and fun, including an entertainment stage, games, a TikTok challenge, a 360 photo booth, and free haircuts. The addition comes after community leaders called for more opportunities for teens and young adults at the festival. Buffalo Common Council member Zanetta Everhart says organizers delivered.
It's really just about making sure we're providing everyone in our community an opportunity to participate in Juneteenth. And so now I see that they have taken on that task, providing a space for our young people to congregate, things that are age appropriate for them to do at the Juneteenth festival.
For Walter Ball, the leader of the nonprofit I Am Youth, the new space is about making sure young people feel seen, heard, and included. Youth members and volunteers from his organization took part in the festival.
Sometimes the youth can feel like it's nothing for them to do, right? So this is epic right here to be able to provide an area for the youth to be able to come. What better opportunity to have than the Juneteenth to be able to sit down, talk to the youth, and let them know that not only do we hear y'all, but we're here to help y'all too.
As Buffalo celebrates 50 years of Juneteenth, organizers say the milestone is about more than looking back. It's about investing in the young people who will carry the festival's legacy forward.
We want to encourage our youth and inspire them, build them up to be leaders so that they can come along and be volunteers, because Juneteenth is a volunteer-based organization. So we need the youth to join us as we move forward to 50 years.
Organizers say the goal is to help the volunteers, leaders, and community advocates who will guide Buffalo's Juneteenth celebration for the next 50 years.
You may not necessarily understand the gravity of it right now because you're so young, but when you get older, you'll be able to look back and say, well, I was a part of the 50th, or I went to the Juneteenth when I was such and such age, and feel like a great sense of accomplishment, and that you was able to contribute back to the history of not just the Juneteenth, but the city of Buffalo.
Just to think that I can, lead the parade that my people have been organizing for 50 years, and they want to put me in front of it, that speaks volumes.
An honor fit for a king and queen still to come. The Buffalo activists and community elders receiving a West African title rooted in respect.
I've seen Jesse Nash Jr. multiple times on many different formats. He was on a high 8, he's been on VHS, he's done some DVDs.
Plus, from old film reels to forgotten tapes, a unique project in Buffalo helping preserve memories before they're lost and protecting Black history for generations to come. That and more when Buffalo Juneteenth, 50 years strong, returns. Welcome back to our 2 on Your Side special, Buffalo Juneteenth, 50 years strong. There's nothing quite like royalty in a parade. Jacqueline Lott served as Malika in 1977, an honor she still carries with pride today. She's now 78 years old, but ever so proud of her title. The Malik and Malika tradition has been part of Buffalo Juneteenth since the very beginning. First crowned in 1976 to honor Black excellence, leadership, and cultural pride. Today, the title stands as a symbol of legacy and the leaders of tomorrow. Channel 2's Ron Plants introduces us to this year's honorees carrying that tradition forward.
In Saturday's parade, you saw them, the float carrying this year's Juneteenth King and Queen, and just like the original royal presents 50 years ago, Judson Price and Crystal People-Stokes have seen all those parades and festival events through the years, honoring their culture and celebrating the final freedom announcement in Texas and end of slavery as the Civil War came to a close. Especially for Price, year one in 1976, and a meeting of the Build organization led by William Gator, and an idea about a parade on Jefferson Avenue and Festival coming up to help build up that commercial corridor.
And I recall it was the bicentennial, the country's bicentennial. And so the executive director, Bill Gator, said, 1776, we weren't, free. What is something that we could do that's relate to us? He came back and told us about this Jubilee celebration, and then he said they call it Juneteenth. So he said, okay, thank you. And from there, that's where we went.
On pretty short notice, you were able to get, what, bands and the participants in the parade? What was that like?
That was amazing because we really didn't know what we were going to do. But what I found out is that those who were informed were very happy to be able to be in the parade.
But it happened back then, and then again, and again, and again, for a half century now, even with a switch to Genesee Street and with a slight original complication.
Over the 50 years, we never was rained out except for the first one. But we hadn't planned too much, and the people with food weren't too disgusted. But now it's so big that everybody around is just proud to see it.
Price, who is now 95 years young, was also proud as an industrial arts teacher to produce the pennants and especially the T-shirts with his silk screening skills, even to the point of his granddaughter writing this book about the experience, which really took root in the Queen City. Why?
The size of Buffalo. You have northeast, southwest. Most people know somebody from all over, so it's not difficult getting people together, because I've gone to New York and Washington, D.C., and cities that are so large, they did not have a core like we have in Buffalo.
This year's Queen agrees.
If they can support something like this for that long and allow it to grow to that magnitude. So, and you know, there's a lot of things people can say negatively about Buffalo and Black Buffalo, but you can't say anything negatively about Black Buffalo and its culture. I mean, it has just been solid. And I have been through cities throughout this country where it doesn't happen that way.
Even one of the Assembly Majority Leader's legislative leadership colleagues in Albany didn't quite get it.
The Speaker always mentions this, that he came to Buffalo during a Juneteenth event, and he asked me what was Juneteenth. And I was like, okay, aren't you from the Bronx?
We'll have to
I don't know what Juneteenth is.
But other than politics, People Stokes has fond memories of setting up a food vendor stand along the parade route, or even some hot hoops competition on the courts.
It was when I played with a women's basketball league, and we actually played a game during Juneteenth at the Rock Pile.
And personally, as the Juneteenth Queen, or Nana this year.
I am naturally a Nana. I do have a grandson and a great-granddaughter who are actually going to be on the float with me. Very humbling, honestly, very humbling and exciting just to think that I can, you know, lead the parade that my people have been organizing for 50 years, and they want to put me in front of it. That speaks volumes to me, to my heart, and I'm so appreciative.
As Juneteenth organizers look ahead, there's also a push to preserve the personal histories of African-American families here in Western New York. It's part of a Smithsonian effort reconnecting people to their past, and whether on film, tape, or digital files, those stories are being saved for generations to come. 2 on Your Side's Rob Hackford reports.
Does 8mm,
whether forgotten on film, hidden on DVD, or tucked away on a tape, this small team
we have to add St. John the Baptist
is saving big memories.
He had some VHS tapes.
For the National Museum of African American History, this is their community curation project in Buffalo, New York.
Today we're doing a round of pickups and drop-offs.
So this is an incredible service. I'm thankful for this. You want to sign it too, Anusha?
Yeah.
This is a part of her history and her legacy too.
Yeah.
A connection of past and present for historian and author Saladin Allah, saving his family memories and passions neatly on a thumb drive.
I also have a videotape of me and some of my brothers and colleagues when we were in a rap group back over 25 years ago.
His smile, a reminder for media conservationist C.K. Ming of why this work matters.
You get a peek into people's lives, I think, which is always fun. We've also been doing some institutional digitization for St. John Baptist Church and for First Shiloh Baptist Church, as well as for the Michigan Street African American Corridor anchor sites.
Providing safe passage of stories for future generations in cities across America, from leaders, elders, and those who came before.
Buffalo has so much interesting history. You talked about the freedom journey, freedom people escaping slavery. We are not here to collect items or be extractive. We're here to preserve these histories for the sake of the community.
Preservation is what Doug Ruffin was doing in the 90s and early 2000s.
2001 at his home.
Even if he didn't know it at the time.
Kind of like doing it myself, guerrilla filmmaking, and well, these are two good ones right here.
Oral histories and interviews with prominent Black Buffalonians like Jesse Nash Jr., Eugene Pierce, and William L. Gator.
People were beginning to become more conscious of their rights.
This is from Reverend Eugene Pierce. We're getting more and more of people needing DVDs. These were family reunions.
The importance of the contents in the eyes of each beholder, a service provided free of charge to save the stories of African Americans who for generations were forced to come and go, but whose history is firmly planted in Western New York.
The whole experience has been an amazing journey.
This kind of initiative is valuable to our communities. You know, we're in an age where a lot of times people take history and our legacy for granted, but having the opportunity to be able to preserve it for our future generations is, you can't even put a price on that.
And as Buffalo marks 50 years of Juneteenth celebrations, we're reminded of a tradition built on community and carried forward by generations, from honoring the past, serving the present, and inspiring the future. Juneteenth in Buffalo continues to grow, evolve, and bring people together. Thanks for joining us for Buffalo Juneteenth, 50 years strong. I'm Claudine Ewing. Have a great day. Happy Juneteenth.